Well, I had a bunch of requests to do a review on this light. This is the Thrunite TN36 2017 version, which I believe is their brightest flashlight they have. I often got requests when I did different types of flashlight reviews. People say, well, hey, what's the brightest one? Or what's that like? You know, this one is 10,000 lumens. 10,000 lumens. It seems a little bit made up. To be honest. I mean, a lot of times you get, pocket EDC lights, 500 lumens, 1,000 lumens. You're like, oh my God, 1,000. What's 10,000, right? And it becomes kind of mind-boggling. Well, it's bright. It's really, really bright. A lot of these manufacturers that are making flashlights, they have their own light flux boxes and they're doing their own testing to get these numbers. Sometimes those numbers are inflated. Sometimes they're not. There's no real way to prove that. There's a lot of off companies out there from overseas that are claiming really high numbers, and you compare those lights to other companies that are claiming the same numbers, and one's brighter than the other, and you have to question that. How do you really know how bright it is? Well, if you guys go over to candlepowerforums.com, those are guys who are obsessed with flashlights. So if you're watching a flashlight review, you may have some interest in that. If you really want to know the nitty-gritty on flashlights, some of those guys over there do have the capability to actually test candle power and lumens and all that stuff. So if you want to know more about it, I'm sure, I didn't check it out yet, but I'm sure there's got to be a thread on the TN36 2017. But anyway, this is the kit. You get a bunch of stuff in this kit. You get the charger. I've never seen this charger, and I really don't know if they sell this one on its own, but this is by far my favorite Thrunite charger for 18650s. It has 4 different terminals for them. I'll show you a little video of these charging, because I was actually using this flashlight a bunch to do the review, and I went through the 18650s 3 or 4 times just in my one testing day. All right, so I got a good idea on run times, which I'll talk about in just a moment here. But you unscrew the head here. You can see there's a battery pack on the inside and 4 18650s. These do come with the Thrunite branded 3100 milliamp hour lights, although the flashlight's rated up to, I think, 3400 milliamp hour. So keep that in mind. As far as the outputs, they should be the same, but the run times will change. 3100 milliamp hour obviously just has less energy than the 3400. So if you do use the 3400s or something, a little bit above the 31s, then obviously you're gonna get a little bit more runtime. But these are the ones that came with it, so obviously those are the ones that I wanted to test the light with. So real quick, let me show you what else it came with here. You got, of course, your accessories pack, another button. You have a flat split ring, which is interesting. Even if you're not going to use it for a flashlight, this kind of stuff you can use for other gear. And of course, a wrist lanyard in there, a couple O-rings. All right. Besides that, obviously, like I said, our charger, which I'll show you a quick clip when I was charging the batteries. But I just really like it. It's very, very high quality. I think it gives you a lot more information than just your charging capacity. So it's very cool. Of course, you have some paperwork here. Here's all our specs. We usually do a couple different languages. So let's try to find the English. There we go. You can pause your screen right there if you want to see all the text specs. But yeah. And we have this card. It says, thanks for your order from Thrunite. I hope you love and have a great experience. All of our products. If you have any problems, questions, blah, 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 blah. Contact information. And then this is information on the charger. Let me find the English, which is on top here. Yep. All right. So again, you can pause the screen right there if you want and read about that. But really, really cool. So we do get a sheath. I have not used the sheath. This light I literally put in my pocket. I didn't have anything else in my pocket because I didn't want to scratch it up or anything, but literally 10,000 lumens in your pocket. It is heavy. It is, a chunk in there. It's not super slim, but yeah, I didn't use this. This is a nice sheath though. What's cool is the Velcro strap here, which you don't usually get. So if you want a quick attachment, that's nice, as opposed to having to take your belt and undo your belt and fish that through. Of course, the little D-ring on top, which is nice if you want to throw a carabiner. This is probably the easiest way to carry this, is put a carabiner on here and then literally just clip it to a belt loop on your pants. You don't have to fish your belt through at all. You just have it kind of hanging there if you want. But no loose strings. A lot of times, you know, these flashlight companies, they use pretty cheap sheaths usually. I've never really had a problem with Thrunite specifically, but there's a lot of different companies out there that just, you get like little, you know, pieces of thread hanging off, and if they catch on something, they can start tearing, and your, you know, your sheath can start fraying up and stuff, which is not good. But this is all padded, kind of reinforced. It's really nice. If you do use your sheath, you'll probably like the one that comes with this particular model. But I did not use it, so I'm not going to talk about it much besides that it feels nice. Yeah, so here's the light. 10,000 lumens, right? It's kind of mind-boggling. Obviously, as technology advances, you get brighter and brighter and brighter flashlights. I do believe that this, if not exactly 10,000, it's close. You know what I mean? I have seen lights that are, you know, 12,000, 14,000, 17,000. I've seen 20,000, you know, lumen lights before. And without having it in person, it's a little bit different to compare, because when you're watching videos on lights, it's very, very hard to really pick up what the performance is on that flashlight. First of all, you have different camera qualities. You know, you can film the exact same beam shot with one light on 5 different cameras and have 5 different results on a video. So don't go directly just by a video. Like I did a bunch of beam shots. I'm only gonna use some of them in this video. I did some GoPro footage. For that, I walked a path around the pond at night. I did like an open area. I walked around my streets locally. I went to a baseball field. I don't know what footage I'll use. I don't want to make the video too long, but those beam shots are just to give you a quick idea of what it's like. But it never represents what you actually see, because even the best of cameras can't pick up the same amount of light that the human eye can see. And I've talked about this before. Beam shots in a video, it's kind of like paper cut tests with a knife. You know, what you see is not necessarily what you're going to experience yourself. There's a lot of variables there. So it's really just for entertainment. It gives you, just like I said, a little bit of an idea, especially if you're watching one particular YouTube channel that does product reviews and stuff, and they do a bunch of different flashlight reviews. They're probably using the same camera, so then you can use that as a reference to, you know, one flashlight to another. But besides that, like I said, it's more for entertainment than education. You'll never really know how bright it really is until you have one in person, but it doesn't do it justice for this. It's never done justice for any of the flashlights I reviewed from any different company. But, you know, it's way brighter than it appears. I'll just leave it at that. All right, so let's take a look at this business end. This is where all those lumens are coming from. We have 3 XHP70 LEDs. You can see they're in kind of shallow, stippled, heavily stippled, or orange peeled reflectors. We have the triangle pattern. I don't know if you can really tell how big those LEDs are, I mean, compared to, you know, other types of LEDs. The actual diode is just massive. All right, a lot of light coming out of here. You can see, because they're in this triangle pattern, a lot of times when you have like 3 or 4 LEDs combined, you get some really weird artifacts. All right, by artifacts I mean darker spots or shapes. You know, if you have one LED and a real wide reflector or a real deep reflector, you get a single circle or a nice dispersion of light. Usually, when you have a weird pattern like this and multiple LEDs, like I said, you'll get like kind of a star shape or like these funky shapes in these shadows. Usually, when you have multiple LEDs, it's very bright. So on a lower mode, you may see those artifacts. When this is on turbo at 10,000 lumens, you don't see any artifacts, you don't see any hot spots. This is 100% flood. Naturally there's throw, just because there's a lot of light coming out there, so it does have some distance. And I would say this lights up to at least 100 yards, where your eye can see something totally fine. Like if there's an animal standing in a field or something, up to about 100 yards is what you're gonna get with this, but it's not specifically throw. This is just dispersing light in every which direction. This is literally producing a wall of light. All right, it's kind of hard to you know, explain that without just standing next to me in person and seeing it, or obviously by yourself. I don't have to be there for you to check that out. But you know, it's just a wall of light. It's not a searchlight. It literally will light up an entire street. It'll light up an entire yard, property, the whole inside of a room. You know, I don't care how big the room is. Inside anyone's house, and even if you live in a mansion, if you went to a movie theater and you stood in the corner of the movie theater and you turned this on turbo, the entire movie theater inside would be completely lit, like the lights were on. So that's to give you an idea of how powerful 10,000 lumens are. Headlights. a common car, and obviously there's a lot of variables there too, and newer cars usually use brighter lights in all the cars and stuff. The average low beam, I think, is only like 1500 or 2000 lumens or something. You know, even on a bright set of headlights, your low headlights are probably 6,000 lumens at most, you know. Your high beams are still under 10,000 lumens. So this is literally brighter than getting in a pretty new car and putting on the high beams. All right, not to mention you have much better dispersion of light because it is just a complete wall of light. And obviously with headlights, you have the reflectors are trying to focus those beams. It's a totally different situation. But again, for a comparison, if I stood next to a brand new, you know, car, this would be brighter. You'd definitely light up the road a lot more. If I can run this off a car battery, I would have this on my bumper. It would do a lot better job lighting up the road than my headlights. But anyway, so let's talk about how this thing works. Pretty much the same UI as a lot of different Thrunite lights, but the big deal with this one is that there is a infinity mode, okay? So that means we get ramping functions, which I am a huge fan of. The biggest thing about this particular light, because there are many lights on the market that are, you know, claimed to be brighter, and there are definitely a couple, not many, but a couple that are brighter than this flashlight. However, right now, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you know of one, please let me know down in the comments, but I believe this is the brightest flashlight for its size currently. In 2017, right now, as of the filming of this video, the smallest, brightest flashlight. What I mean by that is that any light this size or smaller is not as bright as this. And I'll give you a quick rundown on its size so you can really get an understanding of this. About 2.5 inches outer diameter on our head, right? And our length on this, about 5.25 inches. Bottom end, just over 2. All right, so let's talk about how this works a little bit. There is an indicator LED in our button here, so when you turn it on, it will illuminate blue, and it will stay blue as long as you have enough power in the flashlight. As your batteries start dying and need to be recharged, it will change to red, which is nice, okay? If you look at it, in my demo later, I'll show you the one clip. I was walking around the path around the pond, pitch black out, like 2 in the morning, or wherever it was after midnight, and the light died on me, because I was playing with it all day, and I only had a couple minutes of power left. Now, had I looked at that button, or remembered to look at the button, I would have known that it was dying, and I shouldn't have done that demo at that point. I should have charged the light up. However, I didn't look at it. So the indicator light is only as good as you, the user, you know, remembers to use that function. But it is a very cool function, so I do like that a lot. One more thing about this particular flashlight is that it does have an anti-overheating element inside of it, so this will not allow the light to stay on over 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So you will never overheat this flashlight. You will never damage the LEDs or have the possibility of damaging the batteries. So that's a huge, you know, thumbs up. You know, especially with something with a lot of power like this and a lot of light, and it generates a lot of heat. You know, when you turn this on turbo, which from off position, you can turn on double tap. It's hot. I can feel the heat on my hand right here. All right, 10,000 lumens, even on some LEDs, even with a good heat sink, is going to produce some heat, right? So these little finned areas here, this also helps with the heat dispersion, but it won't overheat, which is nice. Once it starts getting warmer and warmer after use, and it does get a little bit warm in the hand, it's still totally fine to hold. At no point did I find that it was too hot to handle. I've had some lights in the past where it's like, oh, it's getting a little bit too hot. I forget there was a Thrunite model that was like that in the past, and it was pumping out a lot of light, but it was getting hot fast, and you don't want that. Obviously, that can cause damage to the internals, you know, in the flashlight. All right, back to the functions and the UI. From the off position, if you hold it down like all the other Thrunites, it goes to our Firefly mode. In this particular case, it's 2 lumens, and they estimate a 28-day runtime just because it is 2. Usually Firefly is like less than a lumen, it's 0.5 or 0.2, 0.8, whatever they do. But because the lowest light output is still a little bit brighter than other you know, Thrunite models on Firefly, you do get a little bit less of a runtime. All right, and by the way, I will do an update on that other flashlight when it eventually died because it is no longer working. Yes, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, all right, so Firefly from the off position, just hold it down. And then you just push the button once to turn it on. And when you push and hold while it's on, that's when you get your ramping. That's all the way up, right? It'll flash like that to show you that it's all the way up or all the way down. And as I'm holding this, you can see that it is lowering, you know, many different modes in between. and that's our low mode. Okay, so when you're doing the ramping up and down, the infinity mode, low is 70 lumens, right? Hold it, and we'll go from 70 all the way up to 7,000 lumens. And again, when you reach those highs and lows, it'll flash. So that's 7,000 lumens. I already feel the heat coming off of there. And at any point when you turn off the light, it does have mode memory function, but only for the ramping infinity mode. Okay, it does not do mode memory for the Firefly, the Turbo, or the strobe mode. All right, so let's ramp this back down a little bit just to demo that. So we're like somewhere in the middle. Turn off, turn on, same thing. And every time you push that button to ramp, it'll go one way. Right now it's going up, right? If you let go, push it again, it'll go back down, and so forth. Let go, push it, go back up. All right. And then again, if you double tap, you have your turbo, which is at full 10,000 lumens, and it is hot. All right, very hot. So, strobe mode, at any point when it's on, right, you go to your turbo, and then you double tap again to get the strobe. All right, and our strobe is a single wavelength. It does not change. And the strobe is not the full 10,000 lumens, it's actually 7,000 lumens. Now on the strobe mode, they estimate 90-minute runtime, and the turbo, the full 10,000 output lumens, is estimated to be 85 minutes. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is the price, right? Everyone likes a real bright flashlight, but how much is it? 280 bucks. That's how much this kit costs. It's not just the flashlight, you do get the charger and you get the 4 batteries and everything, but that's a lot of money. It's an expensive flashlight. It's not going to appeal to everyone. This is not going to be your go-to EDC light. It's great for any kind of emergency service, department. Firefighters should have this light. Police should have this light. Every police vehicle should be equipped with this flashlight or something similar. I don't see why they wouldn't. Obviously, emergency services, they're not always equipped with the best or latest and greatest equipment. I think there's a lot of cops that still have the rechargeable mag light in their vehicle. But hey, as time go on, obviously money is always an issue too. So it'd be hard to spend, almost 300 bucks per squad car. But just personal opinion, I think if you're an emergency responder of any kind, you should have access to a ton of light if you need it. But what is this flashlight going to, or who I should say, is this flashlight going to appeal to? Like I said, a professional. If you are a security guard somewhere, I highly doubt your security office will just buy a bunch of these randomly. Maybe if you supply your own gear, your own flashlights, this might be something that you want. It's definitely extremely effective for that type position and being a security guard. Any kind of outdoorsman might want a flashlight like this. Let's say you drop some gear or something in the woods, or who knows, you're out in the woods, you're doing camping or whatever, you hear a noise. This light will light up the woods. It's definitely an effective light for wildlife if you feel like you're endangered by something, if there's a bear in the area, a wild cat, who knows what. You will literally create a wall of light. It will not be able to see anything in front of it, so therefore it cannot attack you. It is a good non-lethal defense option as far as the wildlife's concerned. And not to mention, with any kind of animal, they'll probably just be stunned. They won't know what to make of the wall of light, and they'll probably stop for a second, enough for you to either get away or defend yourself properly. So that's always a consideration. But it's expensive. It's a novelty to a lot of people. It is extremely useful, but for specific reasons. For some people, like I said, most people on candle power forums, if you're into flashlights, yeah, you got to get the big ones. You got to get the monsters. This is a monster light. Most lights out there, I should say all lights out there, that are over 4,000 or 5,000 lumens, they're over $100. There's just no way to get around that. It's expensive technology. It's like a custom knife or something. You're not going to get that kind of power, that kind of performance for a super cheap price. It's in the ballpark for other flashlights in and around the $10,000 or 10,000 lumen, $10,000, yeah, 10,000 lumen range. Is it worth it? For a lot of people, yes, it is worth it. For me, I just like playing around with different types of lights. I didn't buy this particular light. I was able to get a hold of one of these for review. But yeah, I personally am not in a position to pay $300 for a flashlight, or close to $300 for a flashlight, but there's still a lot of people out there that would. There are definitely people that own this light already because they like these monster flashlights. And something like this, 10,000 lumens, even 5-10 years from now, there might be brighter flashlights, but this will still be bright. 10,000 lumens will be bright for the foreseeable future. So to kind of sum everything up, it's super bright, it's super small. Right now in 2017, in August, if you are looking for the best, brightest flashlight in the smallest package, this is it. There's nothing smaller and brighter, period, in the world. And that's a lot to be said. As time goes on and technology changes, who knows, that may change. The flashlight industry advances so fast, it's really so surprising to me, you know, how that technology continuously advances. They come up with new, cooler LEDs and different circuit boards and different features and stuff. But yeah. So if you're looking for an extremely bright, extremely compact flashlight, this is it. The TN36 2017. There are cheaper versions of this light, you know, that are a little bit, you know, less expensive. If you go to Thrunite's Amazon page, when you go to this light, they have a bunch of different options on the bottom. All right, and they have a bunch of different models that are similar to this too. You can get one that's like 7,000 lumens, but it's a little bit cheaper and so forth. So it's just something to consider for the collectors out there. That's why I'm doing this review. A lot of people wanted to see it. Not a whole lot of people are going to buy this, but you know, if you were interested in it, now you know a little bit more about it. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to leave you with the demos so you can kind of see this in action. I'll definitely show you the walk around the path. This was after midnight. I was in my pajamas. All I had on me was a gun because I'm walking out in the middle of a walking path. I know there's some big predatorial animals in the area, so I'm not dumb. So I have my gun and I have my flashlight, and that was it. I didn't bring a spare flashlight because I obviously was doing a flashlight demo. I didn't think of it, didn't think I would need it, but I didn't check, and it was low on power because I was playing with it all day. And it died on me in the middle of the path, so I had to walk back in the dark, which is kind of funny. It was one of those dumb moments, you know. But anyway, you'll get an idea what it looks like in closer quarters as well as in the open. So enjoy the demo. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you have this light, let me know down below about it. If you know of a brighter flashlight that's smaller, let me know as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.
All right, guys. I'm taking a little night walk with this TN36 2017. So I usually don't walk around the pond at night. Tons of coyote out here. And I know there's mountain lion in the area, bobcats, stuff like that. Plus all kinds of creepy crawlies, but should be fun. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this will light it up. So in a second here, I'm going to turn it on so you guys can see as soon as I get to the path here. All right. You guys ready? Here it is. Oh, there's a little rabbit already. Oh, there's something down there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Looks like a cat, and I think it's Patches. I hope it's Patches. My family cat. Let's see. This is certainly bright. If it's Patches, we're cool. If it's a different cat, might get attacked. So let's hope it's Patches. Peek out. There, completely lit up. So it kind of makes it fun since it's so bright. Walking the path here. Obviously got to keep an eye out for wildlife. Here's a shot out in the water. The fish jumping. The problem with being on the path is it's a path. So if there's something dangerous, you can't really jump into the woods here or into the pond. I suppose I could, I just don't want to. I don't know where the cat went, but he's indoor outdoor, so if he's out here, he's fine. He comes back at night. All right. Let's check some different modes on the path here. All right, turn off. Here's our firefly. All right, turn on, dimming down, getting darker. Okay, let's raise it back up. I love the ramping mode. It's absolutely awesome for flashlights. All right, that's our full output there. You hear the bullfrogs. All right, the light shut off. That sucks. Now we have no light. All right. Well, note to self, make sure the batteries are fully charged. All right, guys, so it's like 2 in the morning. I'm actually about to go to bed here, but the batteries are fully charged. I happened to check on it real quick, so I popped them in the light. I'm outside for a second to give you a quick demo out in the open area as opposed to in a tight little path. If you could see that, the moon is like a full moon right now. So I can kind of see out here already, but hopefully this will still give you an idea, at least in an open area here. So here we go. So you can see off into the brush over there. Literally just lights up everything. Completely lit up. So go in the front here in the grass and out in the pond. I mean, this light is traveling across the pond and into the wood line. But, I mean, it's just amazing. All flood. There is plenty of throw naturally just because of how many lumens there are, but it's not really a focused beam so much as it is just literally throwing everywhere. So, pretty darn cool. Just a massive wall of light. Let's go down a little bit more concentrated here in the grass. Just awesome. Very cool. I can see a couple animal eyeballs reflecting back at me, so there's something out there. But anyway, there you go. We'll cycle through the modes real quick here on the one. And again, going all the way down. Alright, so there's our lowest mode, ramp back up. There's a high. There's our turbo. And there's our strobe. Put the strobe out there. Okay. Very nice. Super, super bright. Can tell you with nice fresh batteries here, it's already starting to get warm in the hand. All right, a lot of energy being dispersed. A lot of light. Amazing. Alright, well, that's it for now. I'll keep playing with this and eventually put this in the review video.